What is going on, everybody? I've had a pretty busy afternoon, couple of weeks, whatever. Just a quick update. I, thanks to Mr. Wordy Made, have this sitting on the shelf getting ready for Axialfest 2016. No name as of yet, but there's been a few thrown around. Let's see, today I had to shift around some transmission parts. Needed a transmission for the Scout, and there is the transmission for the new truck. It's pretty much anything from Supershafty plus some Holmes Torquemaster outdrives, the one-piece spool. Really awesome piece for the transmission. And this is really cool. In from Supershafty. That is a link riser set for the Wraith, which you can see the Scout is sitting here on the floor, belly up, getting ready to put in this transmission and this link riser kit. I might not be back this evening. It's getting kind of late already. So hopefully I'll come back tomorrow afternoon and show what's up. I will talk with you later. So here's a real quick look. The finish is pretty good. I like it. Of course it could be set through a brush and a wheel and whatnot and get polished up, but come on. Is it going to stay polished underneath the truck? Aside from some milling marks, it's clean. These are really cool little link risers. So I will get these on, and we'll come right back and show you what they look like on there. Okay, so there's the passenger side installed. It's pretty straightforward. You will have to use longer screws in these holes. I happen to have a bunch of M3 screws around that I used in here. I think I used a M3 by 20. Don't quote me on that. Now, that means you won't be able to reuse your old stock screws that held on the upper links. And you will need M3 screws for these holes, because these are in fact threaded, which is actually pretty cool, to have threaded holes to put your upper links in. So there's one side. I'll put the other in. We'll show a picture of it on. I tucked it up in there already. It looks really cool just sitting up in there. It's one of those little details that people won't notice until they see it perform, or unless they're really, really looking into your truck, which I know a lot of scalers, you really got to flip up the skirt to find stuff underneath, but it's still a really cool little detail to have under there. So just be aware. Also, as a warning, these link risers have this little hook. If I can find the lens here. Where's the lens at? Right there. See that little, it sets in on the skid like this, and that lower hole is actually where the upper link screw goes through. As a little tip, clean your skid before installing. I put mine in there and realized there's about half a thread hole off, or excuse me, half a screw hole off, and thought, well, wait a minute, that thing's supposed to fit the skid just right, until I moved it around a little and heard all the grit in there. I hadn't cleaned it in a long time. So there's a tip. Clean it, have extra screws, and I'll be back to show you how it looks finished. Alright, so here we are, probably 24 hours after I started installing the link riser kit from Supershafty. I ran into some issues with unrelated stuff. Well, not completely unrelated. I had to change out my transmission for the other project, and I had some spur gear issues not clearing with the drive shaft. Had nothing to do with this link riser set at all. Now, the issue I did run into was I had an old aluminum link here for my third link for my panhard setup, and in changing that, I had thought I had the mount on the other side and was afraid it wasn't going to clear something on that side, so I bent it and then got it on there and realized, hey, it didn't have to be bent so hard. So it's bent. It's no big deal. It actually articulates just fine. No issues with the flex. I got everything installed. It looks really clean. You can see up in here the upper links are tucked up nice and high. I did notice on the listing at Supershafty that some of the interior or some such might need to be cleared, trimmed and cleared for the upper link risers to be used. I didn't run into any issues at all, any interference. There's really nothing I noticed about this thing going together other than I had to, on my end, I had to use longer hardware for the mount screw right there. You can see that is the screw at the end of the brace that goes into the actual riser. On my end, I actually had to use longer screws because of the way I had it set up. So there it is. It looks clean. It feels good. I mean, this thing is so unbelievably smooth now. It had a little bit of chop before, and I never, it's a scaler. I never really thought of, the way that it was moving, and now I can feel it wanting to plant harder through the flex. It feels really good. I just can't wait to get out and get this thing on the trail and driven some. Plus, I need to check all of my hardware, so what's a better way to do that than to go rattling down the trail, see if we can lose some screws. Now, don't forget, now on the actual link risers themselves, there's 4 holes in those link risers, or excuse me, 3 holes in those link risers for adjustability. You will have to use M3 screws for those, and don't forget the blue thread sealer. I can almost guarantee anything that goes from steel to aluminum is going to come loose with any amount of vibration or torque or what have you. If it's going to move between steel and aluminum, it's going to need some blue thread sealer. And I believe it's kind of dark in here, but if you can see in there, yeah, you can see the link is on the uppermost adjustment hole, and they are mounted on the inside of the link riser, and it looks really clean back there. I really like it. So thank you to Supershafty.com. It was a really cool little thing to hear I won the contest and actually won this set of link risers. And I will definitely report back on how they work out. This truck has been working out great for me for 2+ years now. I believe I built it for Axialfest 2014. Drove it Axialfest 2015. This year it'll be there, but it won't be my main rig. But it's still my main trail rig, my go-to. I love the crap out of this truck. Plug it in and go. But it hasn't been without its pitfalls. But so far, can't complain. One last little look. We will talk to you later.